All right, welcome in. It's your boy Sosa Picks back with Sunday morning quarterbacks. Just like last year and the year before, you might have thought we were over with, but we're not. We're just getting started. It's a new season, lots of changes in the NFL, but that's why we're here. We're here to give you, the correct information and to get you right, just like the last two NFL seasons where we made you lots of money. Um, and yeah, it's the preseason. We got some bad TV. We got some guys dying to make a roster. Second half of preseason games, the worst football you're going to get. But I'm here and I'm back with my boy Prop God. I mean, we already know the dynamic duo. I had to do it for him one time for the one time. You already
Had
know
to
what it
do it.
had to do it. Had to do it. Why? What you mean? Ain't no question.
Yo, I'm glad you didn't say back like Brady because that ain't the type of comeback you want, man.
Can't believe that, man. It's been a rough summer for the it's been a rough summer for the Brady sexuals. We know a few.
The
Um,
Brady brunch.
I know they're going through it. It's tough to see your hero, die
The
like
Fall
that.
from Grace. That was a good movie too.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I can't disagree. But yeah, man, baseball season. I know that's going well for you. You're in the lab VIP doing your thing. Obviously, you're not on the social media as you were. But what I'm hearing is that there's going to be some changes on that front. I heard some new content coming from Prop God and the squad. So, I'm looking forward to all that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shout out to my lab crew and shout out to FTN Bets as well. So I'm gonna be back. The crew. We're gonna have the spaces going. The Monday night joints. We're gonna try to highlight the primetime games. Sunday morning quarterbacks. We're gonna run it. We're gonna run it world on Sundays. I'm gonna lead the way on Mondays and probably Thursdays, something like that, and then we'll see for maybe the Sunday night games. I don't know, but definitely on Mondays and Thursdays, I'll host NFL space. We already did it last year too, so it's regular schedule programming. Just this time is partnering up with FTN with it.
Absolutely, man. I heard some really good things about them. Lots of good data for the people. Um,
Yeah,
so with that being said, man, I'm ready to get into it. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get into it.
yes, sir.
I want to get into some divisions, get into some win totals, some just the stuff everybody wants to know about.
It just feel good to finally be able to talk about it, and it's not that far away. We're about 3 weeks out now, and it's like when you 3 months out and 2 months out, you
Right.
kind of want to talk about it, but it's like you don't want to get excited. But now it's preseason going, it's time. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm on the same page with you, man. So with that being said, we're gonna get into some win totals, like I said, some outlooks, some predictions. First of all, I want to get into the AFC North. Obviously, you know how much of a huge Lamar Jackson fan I am. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan as well. Some of the Bengals fans that I'm familiar with on the internet don't necessarily like me, but I am a fan of Joe Burrow. I'm also a fan of Deshaun Watson. I think all three of those quarterbacks hold a high level quality of play, and can really do some things on a football field. They all have special abilities, special qualities that we've seen already in the NFL. And then obviously in Pittsburgh, you have Kenny Pickett, first round pick after last year. We saw some good signs towards the end of the year. One would argue that they didn't really play anybody towards the end of the year. But just in general, a strong division, three really big name quarterbacks to go with, obviously an upstart second year guy in Pittsburgh. Um, what are your thoughts first and foremost? Obviously, our boy Odell getting a job in Baltimore.
man,
We love to see it. We love to see Lamar Jackson with any type of help. But what are your initial thoughts on anything that's AFC North related?
so that's the thing. Just coming into this season in general, right? It's a lot of things to be excited for. But when you kick it off with the AFC North, I mean, it's a pretty solid division. Especially I guess you could say it's top heavy. Like you said with Pittsburgh, with them not playing anyone towards the end of the year, that was a good way for Pickett to build a little bit of confidence heading into this year, though. You know what I mean? So I'll look at it that way. Odell being back, fresh off the a heartbreaking Super Bowl, bro.
Absolutely.
When he got hurt in the Super Bowl, I almost shed a tear. Not only because I had a bet on his receiving yards, which he was going to cash easily, but
Easily.
just because just him as a person, he electrified that Rams team towards the end of the season.
Absolutely.
And I just hated for him to, that moment for him for it to be taken away from him, especially with the impact he had in that game. They had no answers for him.
Sure.
So Lamar Jackson, this is the best group of talent he's had on the offensive side of the ball in his career. I think a lot of the questions will be answered for the people who still have questions about him, because I have no questions. But I'm at the point where I just want him to prove the few doubters that he still has wrong. He got the bag that he wanted. It's nothing else now but to go and ball out. And I think what they have in Baltimore is a Super Bowl worthy team. Now, will it play out that way? We'll see. You still got that guy. I'm not even gonna say his name. We'll get to him later on. But just with Baltimore, we know what they do on the defensive side of the ball. Is the pass rush going to be good enough to help out with the secondary? I saw the injury that Marlon Humphrey suffered earlier this week too. So a little bit of questions on the defensive side. Are they good enough to do it? Yes. We go to Cincinnati. Of course, the big question is Joe Shiesty. Is he going to be ready to go when the season starts? Yep. I do think him missing a couple games, they got more than enough talent to weather the storm until he comes back. But let's just say Baltimore hits the ground running, and now Cincinnati's playing catch up. Now Baltimore does start out with some divisional opponents, I think, within the first 5 weeks. So this division is going to be real tricky, and every game is going to count really from the beginning of the season on for both of these two, with Baltimore and Cincinnati. Why did I just forget the third team? Oh, Deshaun. How could I forget? Now with Deshaun, I need a bounce back year. You look how much time he had off last year, right? I'm not really going to hold it against him. When he came back, he did not look like himself. I don't expect to see that again.
It was not sharp. Absolutely.
But I just see no way. He has too much talent, and he has too much talent around him to look like that again. So I expect a bounce back year from Deshaun. Do they have enough to win this division? I don't believe so. I don't think that they will take it from. I didn't even say what I like. I like Baltimore to win the division.
Okay.
Let me get straight to it. I think the Ravens to win the division, and I might put a little ticket on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. That's how I'm feeling coming into the year. As far as Baltimore, I'm very heavy on the Ravens side. Okay. When it gets to Cleveland, I see them finishing third. The defense is going to be solid. We know what Nick Chubb is. And the question is now, can Deshaun bounce back? That's the biggest concern for me. And then when we go to Pittsburgh, it's with Kenny Pickett. I feel like it might be a good situation for him to continue to grow in. You got the history, of course, Mike Tomlin never having a losing season. But when you're in this type of division, it's like, how well do you expect this young guy to do with what he has? We know what Pittsburgh can do on the defensive side of the ball. We saw how they drafted as well. I expect the defense to continue to play well. George Pickens is looked phenomenal as far as training camp, and then we've seen what he did last year. So with him having a full camp with Pickett now, I'm excited to see that duo grow together. I think they'll be great for a long time. But do I think they have what it takes to win this division? No way at all. But I can never disrespect Mike Tomlin, though. So maybe not no way at all. I'm sorry.
I got a hot take.
Okay.
Listen, and I think Pittsburgh may have hit on another quarterback, and I think that Kenny Pickett is good. It's hard to say it because I've been a hater. I think the whole small hands jokes. Oh, he's got small hands.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes are one thing, right? He wears 2 gloves and all that other shit. But he might be the guy, man. He might really be good. And the thing is that I think people don't realize like how talented this Pittsburgh team really is. Now, I didn't pick them to win the division, but I do think that this division will be the one that cannibalizes itself the most in the NFL. I think that.
You think it's the most competitive?
Yes. Yes, but yes, as far as like competitive and having contending teams, right? Because like you can look at like the I'll give you an example, like the NFC South, right? Like they might be competitive because they might all be middle of the pack.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
These 4 teams might all be competitive, like, but they might all be fighting for like
play at a high level.
Very high level, exactly. So like outside of the division, they might go and smack the shit out of a couple teams. stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the talent on the side of Pittsburgh. Their offensive line is much better. They made wholesale improvements on the offensive line. Obviously, Najee Harris. They have Warren as a second running back, very talented kid. You mentioned Pickens already as well. Listen, it's not far-fetched that the Pittsburgh Steelers could be really fucking good. The reason why we're not going to pick Pittsburgh is because of the quarterback and the three other bigger names that we already named.
Yep.
But who's to say that a first-round pick at quarterback turns out to be a good one in Pittsburgh? Wouldn't be the first time.
That's a fact.
And the defense is damn good. You got two really good edge rushers to go with the interior with Hayward. Obviously, we know about TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith just got an extension. So obviously that should tell you how they feel about him. They gave him a nice bag. So again, I would not want people to think that Pittsburgh is out of the realm of belief to be good. With Cleveland, this is where my hot take comes in. I think Cleveland can win this division. I think they can. I think that the odds favor them a bit. Listen, Deshaun Watson is an MVP caliber quarterback. We've seen him play at that level.
Definitely.
So again, that is the one thing that has hindered this franchise for their existence. A quarterback. They've had tons of talent. Why? They've always drafted high because they sucked.
You go from Johnny Manziel to
Baker Mayfield.
Just
awful. So, but I think Cleveland can contend for this division because I think, like I said, that this division will cannibalize itself. They will beat the shit out of each other. Everybody's record will be relatively close. The whole world is expecting these two teams to win 12, 13 games. I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's not impossible, but I really do think that the competitiveness of this division and the fact that the NFL is very competitive across the board, particularly in the AFC, would not be surprised if the winner of the division won 10 games or 11 games. Would not surprise me at all. Would not.
Yeah, I could see 10 or 11.
Max.
Yeah. I don't even see 12, to be honest, for any of them. So just off looking at the schedules right now.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. It's just so the margin of error is so razor thin in the NFL. So
look, Deshaun, is Deshaun the biggest wild card for you in the league this year? If he clicks this team goals it's between him and Tua Tagovailoa. If we're talking about the quarterback position, because if Tua performs at a high level and plays all the games, inherently they're unstoppable. If he
inherently
performs,
they should be like a 13-win team, right? Because that's just obviously, I'm not the super analytic guy. I know what I see and I try
just
to work.
Eye test.
Right. I try to work off of that with the numbers because some of the numbers correlate, but I mean, it's a week business. Everybody has different matchups every week. So it's so hard to get like a full grasp on data for the NFL. So, but Deshaun's a huge wild card, obviously. And then the defense should be better. I mean, Joe Woods did them no favors. He was awful last year as a coordinator. You get Jim Schwartz in the building, who should turn Myles Garrett into even more of a beast. I mean, we know his his ability, but
he's not even reached his ceiling yet. So yeah.
So again, I don't be surprised if Cleveland is right there at the end of the season competing for the division. If they could do it with Myles Garrett on one side and Baker Mayfield on the other, it's possible. They can compete. They've never won the division,
Definitely.
also, so it's not in their. It's obviously never going to be in their favor because they've never done it.
And then you get to if you're going to stack the box because of Chubb, then Deshaun could do what he loves. He loves to air it out, and they didn't do much of that last season. So to be able to do that with a full year camp now, with the guys, yeah. Now you're making me fall in love with Cleveland a little bit. So I mean,
right? Listen, just don't be shocked, okay? Who's the best defensive player in the division? You're probably going to say Myles Garrett. Who's the best quarterback in the division? You're going to say Joe Burrow. But is the distance between Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Deshaun Watson that vast? That just
not the real Deshaun. That's the thing. So, the Deshaun from last year, I'm not counting that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So like if all things equal, they got the best. I think Garrett's probably the best defensive player in the division, and I think that Cleveland also has the best quarterback in the division.
Cincinnati lost the anchor of their defense when they lost Jesse Bates.
See, I want to believe that, but I think the anchor of that defense is really their coordinator, Lou Anarumo. I mean, he's a great defensive.
Yeah.
He's a great defensive mind, bro, and I think that he also knows how to really assess talent, which is why they weren't that bad on Jesse Bates. Now, obviously, it's not good when you lose a guy who's like an all-pro level player or who has performed at that level, but it's kind of like, what do you trust? Like there's a reason why, the Patriots didn't offer J.C. Jackson a contract because they have Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Right. So if the guy running the show is the one really controlling what's going on, then you have nothing to really fear. And I think that's how Cincinnati's approaching it. And I think I wouldn't say it's all about nothing, right? Because obviously losing talent doesn't help, but I don't think it's going to be like some hard situation to where they're going to suck because of losing Bates and Belt. They lost both their safeties.
Oh yeah. I wasn't saying that they would suck. I just felt like he will be missed.
For sure.
But do you get addition by subtraction with Eli Apple being gone, or?
It's a good question.
I had to get something about Eli in there, man.
I'm more concerned about Von Bell being gone. I mean, Von Bell signing with Carolina. I mean, you lose both your safeties. It's a little different. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing. It's like the transition period of how long that takes for them to adjust in the back end.
Those growing pains, yeah.
So, and then also, I mean, again, I'm hopeful that Joe's healthy. I hope that he can play week 1. If he's not available, like you said, they do have a surplus of talent. I do agree with you. Like preseason, I'm probably rolling with Baltimore right now. Obviously, the Marlon Humphrey injury is not good. But as long as Ate's the quarterback and those weapons are able to do their job and give him opportunities to make plays, I don't see a scenario where they don't perform well and make the playoffs. I just don't.
And as long as he just stays on the field, he's missed 5 games. What, the last 2 years? I want to say.
Correct.
Well, both seasons. So that's big as well. If he's on the field,
I think he missed
with this offense,
was
it more than 5?
I think he missed 7 last year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 in both.
6
but nevertheless, 6
in a playoff game, 5 in a playoff game, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 5 in the playoff game, something like that. And I want to shout out a guy you've been talking to me about all offseason, J.K. Dobbins. I think people forgot he was running pretty much on one leg last year. I mean, you can even tell when he had the breakaways, it wasn't the same. With a full camp and him fully healthy, just for the fantasy listeners in here, I think it could be a good pickup if your league hasn't drafted yet. And shout out to Sosa, because I drafted the Patriots defense yesterday in the league. So I hope you're right about them. We'll talk about them later on.
It's gonna be a great little time for them, man. For real.